I'm walking here! Jeez, everyone's in a hurry to go see that concert. Oh, hey everyone! Didn't see you there. As some of you might know, my name is KingOfAllBS. I was actually on my way to go help commentate the biggest Riders tournament in history. Actually, while I've got you all here, why don't we listen to what the participants of the World Grand Prix have to say? Great! You didn't get a choice. So, tell us a little about yourself.
Greetings, my name is Salaga, currently X-Rank player. For SRTE, I'm mostly known as competitive player and speedrunner. In the Riders XGL community, I am game balance designer, beta tester and also co-worker on Video Workshop.
I'm Nayanar, titles Cloud. I'm currently ranked S+ on T thanks to my Cloudy 10R gaming since that's pretty much all I picked for a while.
So, I'm Genesis, or better known as just Gen, or as I jokingly call myself, the Shogun, since the gear I'm known for is super hang-on. There's really not a lot to tell about myself, since I'm not particularly interesting, I don't think, besides being nice at the game, but you know, that's a given.
As most of you know, I go by Racole in the community. I'm currently a S-Rank player. I would say I am mainly known for speed runs and a top player in the community.
Hey, I'm Trouble, Defiant of the Wind. I'm an S-Rank player that is mainly known for playing Advantage S and other gimmicky little gears and somehow making them work.
Hey fellow riders, it's me, the high-boosting titan, Thanos Carr. I am one of the 2X rank players within the SRTE community and am mainly known for my high booster gameplay, though lately there has been more Super Tails and Cover F rep in my play.
So, I'm H&F, I am the hotshot rookie of SRTE, the World Grand Prix qualifier number 7, mainly known for being a Cloud main, and some other people as well knows me as Mini Nayanar.
My name is BB17, I'm a competitive Sonic Riders player, came from DX, and mostly known for just being a great player.
How did you discover the Riders community?
I discovered the Riders community in early 2020s, where the mod currently SRTE 1.2.5 was introduced in one of the popular YouTube channels, and sometime later I found out about the Discord server where mod has been held.
I discovered Riders mods by simply searching for a way to play the Sonic Riders multiplayer. That was a common Google search for me to do from 2010 to 2014, and after a while I dropped the idea of playing that game online since there seemed to be no way for me to do it. Until I searched again in January 2021 and stumbled onto Sonic Riders competitive Discord.
It's actually kind of funny, because I discovered the community 2 months prior before I joined it myself back in 2021. I was literally thinking, damn, if I could actively participate in tournaments for one of my favorite games, that'd be kind of sick. And lo and behold, here I am today, playing a game.
If I remember correctly, I think I found SRTE through YouTube's recommendations.
I discovered the Riders community by looking up Sonic Riders online, and I started finding VODs of Sonic Riders Tournament Edition 1.3 and other prior versions. I found myself really entertained watching them, and then I ended up joining the server.
Being a close friend of the Real John protagonist allowed me to be a part of the birth of the competitive Sonic Riders community, as we shared the same dream of seeing this game succeed, alongside many other passionate players.
It was thanks to the 1.4 Riders Direct. I was one day watching Riders related stuff on YouTube and it got on my recommended, so I said fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. And I instantly got interested into the TE and competitive stuff and everything.
I discovered the Riders community through YouTube, saw some cool videos showcasing new updates for the game, and I really liked Riders as a kid, found it to be an underappreciated game, and so I was hooked.
How long have you been participating as a competitive player?
My first tournament was in February 2020, and since then I gradually became interested in the competitive scene, but this interest arose much more with the release of SRTE 1.3 in the late summer of that year.
I downloaded the game in January 2021 but went inactive very soon after that and only came back at May 1st, 2021, so that's when I started competing.
Almost 2 years. Initially I had no intention of going seriously comp, but something changed?
I have been a competitive player for roughly about 2 years now. When I first joined the server, I took a couple of months to learn the basics fundamentals of riders so I could keep up with my opponents.
My first tournament ever was a beginner's tournament back in February 19th of 2022. So I have been playing for about a year now.
Despite being in the server from the beginning in 2017, I actually didn't start competing until 2020. I have been playing ever since and even hosted my own tourneys.
I've been a competitive player for a year and around 1 or 2 months.
I believe it's been about a year since I've actually started to participate in tourneys, and that is if you count TX. For TE, it's been about half a year.
What was your reaction at the notion of a group of people attempting to create a competitive mod of Sonic Riders?
First time I played OG, Riders I already considered it as one of my favorite Sonic games. Although it was technically a bad game, it had biggest game potential with its mechanics and the try threshold, which was not completely disclosed in the vanilla, and I was pleasantly surprised that there are many like-minded people who have not seen in this game a one-time passerby, or at least just a childhood game. But even more, I was surprised how many people there were at the moment I joined the community.
Riders is a mix of speedrunning and PvP interactions, so it didn't really surprise me much that if a community existed around it, it would be competitive. I was much pleased it did exist though.
Literally just went raw and decided to get into the game because I had no idea the mod existed prior, and when I found out, I was ecstatic. Granted, times were different.
I was quite surprised because OG Riders was not a popular racing game due to the lack of understanding. It was quite difficult for newer players to get into the game, I would say. I am grateful that there is a mod for the game that improves on it. Riders is such a unique and underrated game in my opinion.
When I first saw that Protag and a little team of people were modifying Sonic Riders and trying to make a competitive version out of it, I was thrown away. I was very happy because it made me realize I am not the only person who still cared about this little game that, despite being rushed, was still very fun. And it is an honor to also be part of that team now.
When I heard that there were people who wanted to make the game competitive, I was thrilled, as this was always one of my favorite games growing up. To have unique gears with different playstyles in a game like Riders that has interesting mechanics to learn was an interesting concept for a competitive game, and I think it works here. Which is hard to say for a racing game, but such is the nature of Sonic Riders.
So competitive riders is one of those things that I wanted to do since I have memory, and seeing that there's a group of people that wants to make this an actual thing had made me realize that I have the chance to do what I always wanted to do.
Honestly, I didn't think much about it at first, but once I found that this game has a large and passionate community supporting the game, organizing events and journeys, I was pleasantly surprised.
Tell us, how did you practice in TE to get to where you are now?
Basically I was playing the game. Sometimes I was speedrunning, watching tournament replays, but yeah, I just played with others, and by that gradually growing.
I was watching the NetPlay channel all day long to instantly answer when someone like Salaga or another top player was asking to play. I spent a good amount of time doing that, and just practiced time trial against the world records from the old speedrun spreadsheet and the speedrun posting channel.
This is a funny one because unlike most people, and contrary to popular belief, I don't practice. Since the beginning, I never actually go out of my way to practice. Not because I thought it was unnecessary, but at the time of me playing the game when starting out, there weren't many people you could play with that were new to the game as well. I mainly use the VODs on the Riders Boulevard channel and look at speedruns to get better, since again, that was the only way I could improve prior to today.
Basically doing tons of net play, speedruns, testing out gears and picks. That's pretty much all you need to do to get better.
In Tournament Edition, I practiced by simply first time trialing a lot. When you are a beginner, you should just time trial, and then when you feel comfortable, join a tournament and put your skills to the test and see what you do right and what you do wrong. Because losing is part of winning, and without neither of them, you will not improve.
Most of my practice consists of time trialing, as in my opinion. Learning the fastest route with your character and gear combination on whatever stage it is you choose is crucial in a game where the goal is to reach the goal before your opponent. The rest of my practice is simply just net playing whoever I can find online. Putting your time trial skills into practice in a competitive setting really helps find goods and bads in your routing. On top of this, net playing also assists with the other aspect of riders, the player interaction. Having a great understanding of both aspects will help you win. It never hurts to ask questions in the server for tips and such. There are many knowledgeable players and good resources to learn from, so use them to your advantage.
Currently, I don't practice as much as I used to, but I remember before being a qualifier, I used to practice like 5 hours every day for almost 6 months straight.
My practice sessions mostly boil down to speedrunning, to devise the routing and improve my speed, and I also like to play other top or mid-level players to work on my interaction game.
What's your experience with the SRTE community?
To be honest, I don't know how to answer that question, but also the times I was playing the game per day, enjoying it from tournament to tournament. And most of the time I was lurking and hanging with friends somewhere outside. Yeah, I really can't say much here. Well,
I mostly lurk or post random vids. I'm only there for the gaming TBH. Big fan of SRTE, Genexus, Headless, and Troubleville.
It's a really fun place. It seems like every other day we're back on the shenanigans and we're literally just hanging out. It's had its fair share of bad stuff, but that's a given for most, if not all communities. And for me personally, I've seen it all. No, like, I'm being serious. I've run into so many people that would go, yo, I remember you. And I'm like, yo, I remember you too. And it's kind of like heartwarming knowing that people remember me off of one interaction. I don't know. I don't know. I have positive thoughts on the community.
If you haven't joined the server yet, then you should join. The community is pretty chilled and many helpful people that are willing to teach new members. There are some aspects of gameplay that I disagree with, but at the end of the day, it's just about having fun.
I love Sonic Riders Tournament Edition personally, and this community too. It's a really fun game, and mod, may I specify, with its own little set of niche things, and others that are also really sick. As for the community, well, it's really welcoming, and I love it here.
Within the community, I enjoy just hopping in VCs from time to time and hanging out with whoever's in there. I also like participating in tourneys. I want to be able to host events myself in the future, but we'll see what happens with that.
I don't hang around the community as much, aside from net playing attorneys, but I find people there to be nice and welcoming.
Are there any fun memories you have while playing the game or being in the community?
the most significant events I remember is every patch release. Also a lot of tournament clips I got from my first year. For example, I can remember Net Play Cup 14 because it was the first bracket I've got so far and got a lot of iconic sets. Most iconic from them was the set of me and French Pierre. That's a freaking classic, man.
A lot of memories that I have that I would consider fun or enjoyable come from playing the game. Because when you're playing a game like Tournament Edition, there's always something ridiculous that can happen at any point. Be it a tornado just malfunctioning or something ridiculous happening for no reason without any setup or plans behind it. It's something I'm fond of, personally.
I personally just have a fun time playing Riders overall, so every Riders moment is a fun one for me.
Yes, there is. There's too much even, but if I have to give a recent example, it has to be Global Netplay Cup 19, when me and Trouble play Emerald Chase as a tiebreaker of our match.
Well, I can't think of anything in particular, just genuinely any time playing the game, be it losing or winning, is always fun.
What's keeping you around in the community?
I would say it's because of people I've met for all that time which I'm good to hang with.
I'm not really around much these days, but when I am, it simply is tournaments and nothing much else.
I can without a doubt say I like being a part of the Riders community. Being the first person that greet people and get them into the game was honestly one of the most satisfying experiences, and even now I've made a ton of friends ever since then and risen amongst the ranks. Even become one of the PR managers for SRTE. It really feels like there's some like communion there, you know? And I kind of want to keep that going for as long as possible. But yeah.
Mainly tournaments and speedruns. That's pretty much what I do in the community, to be honest.
I'm still in the community because, well, I like it here. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of the games of my childhood. And the events are also fun to participate in. And I don't really plan to leave anytime soon.
The fact that people here can be chill and fun to hang out with has me staying around in the community.
If there's something that keeps me around in this community, it has to be the people, the events, and the fact that there's always something to do.
I stay for the game, the tourneys, and the drive to compete with top players and become the best at this game.
What are your thoughts on the World Grand Prix?
That's interesting concept with qualifier system for keeping people excited for more than a year and the result watching best of the best facing the real matter. I guess that's cool.
I think it's a cool idea to have a tournament which requires you to get qualified for it in the first place. But I think it could have been done with a sort of scoreboard instead of just winning one tournament, because if you won early in the year then you have to wait months and months without having to fear to lose your place. I think competitions means that you have to remain uncertain about you making it or not. Getting a guaranteed place kinda defeat that feeling to me. But aside from that, I like it.
It's been hyped all this time, well into 2022, all while a new patch was meant to drop, but I'm a little confused on what the spotlight is supposed to be. Like the new patch or World Grand Prix, because it seems like there was a whole lot that could be shown off, but wasn't, and I can't really understand why, but I digress. Besides the marketing, the spirit of the competition has never been better. 8 of the best players participating for $1,000. That's sick. That's raw. I'm down. I'm glad I can participate in that. Yes, sir.
It was quite insane to have a massive prize pool for a small game like Riders. I have to thank Protag for donating $1,000 to the prize pool. This event also wouldn't be possible without his team, so I would like to thank the SRTE team for helping out also.
The World Grand Prix is definitely a tough thing to go through. Be it being organized, be it getting the funds for it, and be it participating in it. It's a big event, and I honestly didn't expect myself to qualify into it. But I'm happy about it. I like it.
I think the WGP is a great idea. It is the perfect tourney for the best players in the world to show what they can do, all while providing quite the spectacle for viewers.
So the idea of the WGP itself is kinda hype, you know. 8 players have to win a qualification tournament. Then they will go to the World Grand Prix and fight each other to prove who's the best. And of course, the best will get the prize as well.
The World Grand Prix is an opportunity for me to see what I'm capable of. See if I can beat all top players without losing my composure. And see if I can become the best Riders player.
Is there any pressure given how large the prize pool is, or how skilled the other qualifiers are?
Biggest pressure from me personally was on how long that event was postponed after the last qualifier, since it was planned for it to be hosted on 2.2 patch. So yeah, I'm gonna be glad it's gonna reach its end, no matter how unpredictable it may be in terms of process.
I think the pressure comes mostly from the fact that this tournament is an invitational one, which is rather uncommon in this community. I don't really intend on winning anyway, so aside from that, I'm not much pressured.
Not particularly, no. It's not because I don't think I'll do well, but it's more like there's such a disparity in how the planning of the event went that I can't really process how I should or want to feel. I'll say I am quite excited to see what the other players bring to the table, hopefully put on as much of a show as I plan to. Oh, forgot to mention, the money is just a bonus to me. Like, I don't really need it, and I plan to give back to the community if I somehow win, but other than that, I'd say no pressure. Just here for the competition.
The pressure for this tournament is huge. Competing against the top players in TE, we got the 3 monsters, Salagar, Thanos and Bibid, that has a big chance of winning this. Cannot underestimate E10 and Trouble. Both have made huge improvements since 1.4. Even though I have not seen Jen or Nayana play recently, they will still be tough challenges. Good luck to all the racers and have fun.
Knowing the skill level of my foes, it will definitely not be an easy task to even place among the top 4. But, you know, you gotta have some confidence. Because if you're just negative about it, then there is no use in participating. You know? Like I said, wins and losses are part of improvement. And that's really it. Hope you all have a good one.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about the tourney. The amount of talent in this bracket alone is quite terrifying. From the talented veterans like Salaga, Nayanar, and Genesis, to the terrifyingly fast learners like Recall, Bibib, E10F, and Trouble, there's no telling what will happen.
Being completely honest, yes, there is. And he's going more for the fact that how skilled and experienced the other qualifiers are against someone like me. But of course, we have to see how that goes.
Yes, there is undeniably some pressure, but I try to stay calm at all times, not to lose my cool, and we'll see if I can maintain that attitude once the matches actually start.
Now that you know who they are, let's go over their current track record. Starting off with our first qualifier, considered to be one of EU's best players and boasting a total of 26 tournament wins, is none other than Salaga, known by his title, Salgado el Cloudslayer. Salaga has been participating in tournaments as early as TE 1.2.5, and is a well-respected player with the skills he brings to every match he participates in. We have seen Salaga play some of the best gears in the game, such as Fastest, Heavy Bike, High Booster, Turbo Star, and some of the more uncommon picks, like Cannonball and Faster. Next up is our second qualifier, his skills reaching the clouds in the sky and holding 3 tournament wins, is Nayanar, known as the Cloud Guy. Nayanar has been participating in tournaments as early as TE 1.3. Is just a simple guy that wants to ride the cloud, also known as hovercraft. Funnily enough, we have only seen Nayanar play only hovercraft, making it well known to his competitors that he is that guy. On to our third qualifier, where you play in his world. Holding 8 tournament wins is Sir Genexus, dubbing himself as the Shogun. Sir Genexus has been participating in tournaments as early as TE 1.3, bringing sick tunes to every race he tears up. We have seen Sir Genexus ride his signature gear, Super Hang-On. However, he has also played Powerful Gear, Hovercraft, Cannonball, and Faster. Here we are with our fourth qualifier. Silently rising amongst the ranks and holding 5 tournament wins is Recall, the Phantom of Babylon. Recall has been participating in tournaments as early as TE 1.3, constantly surprising everyone in the booth with his incredible game-changing plays. We have seen Recall play Legend, Advantage P, Default, Access, Fastest, Turbo Star, Hovercraft, Super Hang-On, and even Berserker. Truly a very diverse amount of picks. Running onto the scene is our 5th qualifier. Taking laps against his opponents and holding 5 tournament wins is Trouble, who is Defiant of the Wind. Trouble has been participating in tournaments as early as TE 1.4, even starting a whole group who ran in his image. We have seen Trouble play Super Sonic, Super Knuckles, Super Tails, Advantage P, Default, Powerful Gear, Hovercraft, Legend, and his signature gear Advantage S. Trouble also has the most amount of picks out of all of the qualifiers. Descending from the top of the leaderboards is our 6th qualifier, holding 9 tournament wins, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Thanoscar, also known as the High Boosting Titan. Thanoscar has been participating in tournaments as early as TE 1.3, dominating anyone unfortunate enough to face off against him in bracket. We have seen Thanoscar play Default, Heavy Bike, Access, Super Tails, and the gear that represents his playstyle the best, High Booster. Blazing onto the track is our 7th qualifier, our youngest competitor and upcoming prodigy, holding 5 tournament wins is E10F, the hotshot rookie. E10F has been participating in tournaments as early as TE 1.4, punching through the ranks and leaving them in the dust. We have seen E10F play Faster, Default, Advantage P, and Hovercraft as well. And last, but definitely not least, with our final 8th qualifier, shaking up the competition with his frightening entrance and holding 3 tournament wins is BibIb17, the Bonk Dash Master himself. BibIb17 has been participating in tournaments since TE 2.0, shaking up the hierarchy with his sudden arrival to the mod. We have seen BibIb17 play Default, Turbo Star, and High Booster. Simple, yet highly effective in his hands.
Now, the race is about to begin.
I guess that's my cue to head over to the booth. Hope to see you all at the World Grand Prix, where the battle for the title of the best and a prize of over $1,000 will be decided.